ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिनि। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Teachings of Queen Kunti, Chapter 9. Decreasing the fever of illusion. जन्मैश्वर्यश्रुतश्रीभिर्येदमानामदप्पुमान् नैवार्हति अभि अभिधातुं वै त्वामकिञ्चन गोचरम्. My lord, your lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. Scary verse for many people. Being materially advanced means taking birth in an aristocratic family and possessing great wealth and education and attractive personal beauty. All materialistic men are mad after possessing all these material opulences, and this is known as the advancement of material civilization. All materialistic men are mad. Wrong word. All materialistic men are mad after possessing all these material opulences. What? Great wealth, education, attractive personal beauty, and this itself is an industry. Ways to increase personal beauty. The whole cosmetic industry, fashion industry, possessing great wealth, all these investment companies, etc., etc. Education is also an industry, big business too nowadays. Why? Because people are mad after possessing this. So business people are taking advantage of that. And this is known as advancement. Elsewhere, Prabhupada says that previously Brahmana used to be the most respected person in the society. Brahmana and of course sannyasi. But now it is a person who has power, who has money. He is the one who is respected. So this is advancement of material civilization. But the result is that by possessing all these material assets, one becomes artificially puffed up, intoxicated by such temporary possessions. So one becomes intoxicated by such temporary possessions. Consequently, such materially puffed up persons are incapable of uttering the holy name of the Lord by addressing him feelingly. O Govinda, O Krishna. It is not that they might not utter the name. Many of such people might not even utter the holy name. But even if they utter the holy name, Prabhupada is saying here, they're incapable of uttering by addressing him feelingly. It is said in the Shastras that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of the uttering of the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency. But there is a quality to such utterances also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. A materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. Therefore, the four principles of material advancement, namely high parentage, good wealth, high education, and attractive beauty, are, so to speak, disqualifications for progress on the path of spiritual advancement. Heavy. That's why people don't want to read Prabhupada's books. How can you digest something like this? Whole world is running behind this, and Prabhupada is saying these are disqualifications. Of course, it is not that everybody who has a high parentage, everybody who has good wealth, everybody who has high education, everybody who is beautiful. It's not that they will not chant the holy name feelingly. But in general, see, we have to understand this. Our position may be that, we are not very highly qualified in any of these. Still, we don't take the name feelingly. So being complacent in our life, just satisfied with whatever Krishna, whatever is there, I'm satisfied. But that satisfaction prevents us from calling out to Krishna with feeling. So actually, if one wants to make spiritual progress, being helpless is a better situation. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Because a helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord. Of course, this helpless calling out to Krishna eventually will purify the devotee to such an extent that then he will lovingly call out. So this helplessness will, not that lifelong we have to remain like this helpless, calling out to Krishna, Krishna, please help, save me. No. But if we are in a helpless situation and we call out with that feeling, then we slowly, gradually, we become attached to Krishna, Krishna's holy name, etc., etc. So that over a period of time, we will call out his name lovingly, not with expectation of any help from the Lord. But this is a better position than somebody who is having a very comfortable life, everything going good. It will be more difficult for that person to make spiritual progress. The material covering of the spirit, pure spirit soul, is an external feature, as much as fever is an external feature of the unhealthy body. The general process is to decrease the degree of fever and not to aggravate it by maltreatment. Sometimes it is seen that spiritually advanced persons become materially impoverished. This is no discouragement. On the other hand, such impoverishment is a good sign, as much as the falling of temperature is a good sign. The principle of life should be to decrease the degree of material intoxication, which leads one to be more and more illusioned about the aim of life. Degree of material intoxication. This material intoxication has to reduce, because otherwise one remains illusioned about the aim of life. Grossly illusioned persons are quite unfit for entrance into the kingdom of God. So one is this grossly illusion. They don't even come near God or God realization. Then there are semi-illusion or subtly illusion. We come to bhakti, we can remain in this subtly illusioned state, where we think that bhakti means that just that my material life has to become more comfortable. Then, oh, okay, see, my bhakti is good. This is subtle illusion, because it's also binding us. It binds us to illusion, saying that this material world, I am this body. So we'll remain in that illusion. So whatever it is, our idea is that we have to decrease this fever of material intoxication, not increase it. In one sense, of course, material opulences are God's grace. To take birth in a very aristocratic family or nation like America, to be very rich, to be advanced in knowledge and education, and to be endowed with beauty are gifts of pious activities. Janmaishwarya Suta Shribir. So this is all result of punya. A rich man attracts the attention of others, whereas a poor man does not. An educated man attracts attention, but a fool attracts no attention at all. Materially, therefore, such opulences are very beneficial. But when a person is materially opulent in this way, he becomes intoxicated. Oh, I am a rich man. I am an educated man. I have money. People become intoxicated. One who drinks wine will become intoxicated and may think that he is flying in the sky or that he has gone to heaven. These are effects of intoxication. But an intoxicated person does not know that all these dreams are within the limits of time and will therefore come to an end. Because he is unaware that these dreams will not continue, he is said to be in illusion. Similarly, one is intoxicated by thinking, I am very rich, I am very educated and beautiful, I have taken birth in an aristocratic family in a great nation. That's all right. But how long will these advantages exist? Suppose one is an American and is also rich, beautiful, and advanced in knowledge. One may be proud of all this, but how long will this intoxication exist? As soon as the body is finished, it will all be finished. Just like the intoxicated dreams of a person who has been drinking. These dreams are on the material platform, the egoistic platform, and the bodily platform. So either it's on the platform of mind or body. Egoistic means basically false ego, thinking I'm the body. But I am not the body. The gross body and subtle body are different from my actual self. The gross body is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, and the subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, false ego. But the living being is transcendental to these 8 elements, which are described in Bhagavad Gita as the inferior energy of God. So we are not this gross or subtle body. And all this material advancement, position, etc., is all related either to the material gross body or subtle body. Even if one is mentally very advanced, he does not know that he is under the influence of the inferior energy, just as an intoxicated person does not know what condition he is in. Mentally very advanced means maybe educated, etc., scientists, poets. Opulence, therefore, places one in a position of intoxication. We are already intoxicated, and modern civilization aims at increasing our intoxication. In truth, we should become free from this intoxication. But modern civilization aims at increasing it so that we may become more and more intoxicated and go to hell. So we should not be attracted by modern propaganda. Modern propaganda is meant to send us to hell. And Vedic propaganda is to take us back home, back to God. But today's world, people they're happy to accept modern propaganda more than Vedic propaganda. And they think Vedic way of life is all old fashioned. We want to live independently, modern way of thinking. In modern way of thinking, there is no question of surrender. People can't imagine surrender. Surrender means losing our position, our so-called power. So modern people cannot surrender to a guru. That is why they don't want guru who can correct them, chastise them. They want guru who can just say okay to whatever one wants to do. That's why Prabhupada said people want to get cheated, they'll go to cheaters. And Prabhupada created ISKCON not for encouraging this cheating. So he went to West and he said, You're all rascals. Apparently, when Srila Prabhupada went to America first time, even before going, his own god brothers, some people from Ramakrishna mission who had already gone to the West, etc., they advised Prabhupada, saying that you should adopt their way of life, change your dressing, change your eating habits, etc., etc. Prabhupada said, no way, this is modern nonsense. He said, I have not come to take anything from you, I have come to give Vedic civilization to you. Otherwise, it would have been so easy for Prabhupada to attract more followers if he had diluted Vedic way of life. So we should understand this modern civilization is just taking us away more and more from Krishna, taking us into hell. So as devotees, at least, we should not get too influenced by modern civilization. Yeah, we should do Yukta Vairagya, whatever is there, everything use it in Krishna's service. We are not Falgu Vairagis, not artificially just renouncing things. But we should definitely not get attached to this material civilization, modern civilization. Kunti Devi says that those who are intoxicated in this way cannot feelingly address the Lord. They cannot feelingly say Jaya Radha Madhava. They have lost their spiritual feeling. They cannot feelingly address the Lord because they do not have knowledge. Oh, God is for the poor man, they think. The poor do not have sufficient food. Let them go to the church and pray, oh God, give us our daily bread. But I have enough bread. Why should I go to church? This is their opinion. See, so much emphasis on spiritual feeling. But the spiritual feeling is not material feeling. It is different. Feelingly one has to address the Lord. Feelingly. Oh Krishna, oh energy of Krishna, please engage me in your service. If we chant mechanically, then the mechanical chanting will not have any impact on us. It's still good, but Prabhupada said parrot-like chanting is of no use. So when will one develop spiritual feeling? When they really want something. When we really want Radha Krishna Seva, then we will feelingly call out, oh Radha, oh Krishna, I know it is so difficult to get. Most exalted position in whole of creation, in whole of Lord's in whole of existence is to become servant of Radha and Krishna. It's so difficult. I know I am not qualified. Please give me mercy. This is spiritual feeling. Nowadays, therefore, because we are in a time of economic prosperity, no one is interested in going to churches or temples. What is this nonsense people think? Why should I go to the church to ask for bread? We shall develop our economic condition, and then there will be sufficient supply of bread. In communist countries, this mentality is especially prevalent. The communists make propaganda in the villages by asking people to go to church and pray for bread. So the innocent people pray as usual, oh God, give us our daily bread. When people come out of the church, the communists ask, have you gotten bread? No, sir, they reply. All right, communists say, ask us. The people say, oh, communist friends, give us bread. The communist friends, of course, have brought whole truckload of bread and they say, take as much as you like. Now, who is better, the communists or your God? Because the people are not very intelligent. They say, oh, you are better. They don't have the intelligence to inquire. You rascals, where from have you brought this bread? Have you manufactured it in your factory? Can your factory manufacture grains? Because they're Shudras, people who have very little intelligence. They don't ask these questions. See, this is very, very important. People in Krishna consciousness should not remain on this platform of being Shudras. No intelligence. No asking questions. Simply close your eyes. Do whatever. We are all have intelligence. We all have intelligence. But we are using that intelligence in a Shudra way for material prosperity. That is how Shudras use their intelligence. In fact, actually, in Varnashrama, Shudras were also not doing that. Just that they were not as exalted as the other three sections of the society. But generally less intelligence to ask intelligent questions. But because they were under the, you know, care of more intelligent people, their life also they would also take intelligent decisions. There never used to be independence in society in Vedic way of life. It always used to be dependence on people who have more superior knowledge, more superiorly qualified than us. That used to be the system. But nowadays, Kalau Shudra Sambhava, everybody is Shudra, everybody is intelligent, materially, everybody is independent, nobody wants to surrender, and they don't ask questions, they don't ask the right questions. A Brahmana, however, one who is advanced in intelligence, will immediately inquire, "You rascals, where from have you brought this bread?" And Prabhupada said, the idea of ISKCON is to create Brahmanas. You cannot manufacture bread, you have simply taken the wheat given by God and transformed it. But this does not mean that it has become your property. Who will ask this? A Brahmana will ask. He will not simply align by this false propaganda, with this false propaganda. Simply transforming one thing into something else does not make the final product one's own property. For example, if I give a carpenter some wood, some tools, and a salary, and he makes a very beautiful closet, to whom will the closet belong? To the carpenter or to me, the person who has supplied the ingredients? The carpenter cannot say, because I've transformed this wood into such a nice closet, it is mine. Similarly, we should say to atheistic men like the communists, who is supplying the ingredients for your bread, you rascal? It is all coming from Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the elements of this material creation are all my property. You have not created the sea, the land, the sky, the fire, or the air. These are not your creations. You may mix and transform these material things. You may take earth from the land and water from the sea, mix them and put them in a fire to make bricks, and then you may pile up all these bricks to make a skyscraper and claim that the skyscraper is yours. But where did you get the ingredients for the skyscraper, you rascal? You've stolen the property of God, and now you're claiming that it is your property. This is knowledge. This is knowledge. So we should be in knowledge. We should not be in ignorance. We should not be fanatical. We should not be sentimental. Philosophy without religion is mental speculation. Religion without philosophy is sentimentalism, and in extreme cases, fanaticism. So we cannot just say, okay, I will do religion, I will do kirtanam, I will do without shravanam. I will simply take prasadam, I will simply do kirtanam. But whose kirtanam are we doing? Who are we? How should we live our life? If the whole society's situation was like of yesteryears, favorable Vedic way of life, then of course, even if you don't get any knowledge, it's okay. But in such a Vedic system, naturally people used to have all this knowledge about who are we, why are we here, what is the goal of life. They used to naturally have all this knowledge. So in this modern setup, it is inevitable that one comes to jnana, one comes to knowledge, one has to come to knowledge. So there was a question posed saying that nowadays, like Prabhupada said, that just sing, dance, and we read that also. Just sing, dance, and honor Krishna Prasadam. What is the difficulty? The idea of this is that when we do kirtan, when we honor Krishna Prasadam, we become purified. So when we become purified, naturally our intelligence becomes pure and we will start asking questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? What is the goal of life? So automatically they have to come to Shravanam. Without Shravanam, Kirtanam is incomplete because we don't know whose glories are we singing. Who is that Supreme Lord? Who am I? What is my relationship with Him? So we should not just be happy, satisfied by doing, okay, I am engaging in Kirtana, I am singing, then I am eating, honoring Krishna Prasadam. That's all. What about Shravanam? How many times have you read Prabhupada's books? I have not read Prabhupada's books. If you have not read Prabhupada's books, we cannot be in ISKCON. Simple. If the idea was to just be in ISKCON, just do Kirtana, just do on Prasadam, why Prabhupada had to write all these books? For whom are these books? Prabhupada said these books first you read, then you distribute. Of course, doesn't mean that we keep reading all our life and don't distribute at all. You have to read and quickly read and then distribute also. This is where today we are having a problem in ISKCON. That we are not giving enough emphasis to Shravanam, to reading Prabhupada's books. That is why at least people, before they get initiated, there should be put a condition which should be seriously evaluated. Saying that have you really read Prabhupada's books, small books, medium books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, at least first 2 cantos, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, at least 19 chapters? If not, no initiation. Because after initiation, people don't have any motive to read. Everything people do is still initiation. They think that is the end of their life. And after initiation, everything stops. Everything comes to a stop. Many devotees don't even turn up to temple after initiation. But this is not what the idea was. Idea of Prabhupada means, he said ISKCON is an educational institution. He didn't say ISKCON is a temple. He didn't say ISKCON is a religious institution. He said it's an educational institution. So if any of us here are not reading Prabhupada's books every day, please do so. The idea of these reading sessions are to actually inspire us, to help us understand how deep, how beautiful, how nice Prabhupada's books are. So that then we can engage in seriously reading those books and changing our life. And not be just external devotees in appearance, but actually be devotees from within. Internal change has to come. So please, please, please read Prabhupada's books and also distribute them. Okay, so we'll stop here for today. If anybody has any questions, we can discuss. Any questions?
Prabhuji?
Yeah, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji, now, like Prabhupada says about the rich not being interested, the same goes with the lower strata of life also. When, so many times when you're trying to preach to people who are working, women who are working, let's say, kidhar time hai Mataji? Even to chant is luxury. We are caught in 24 hours working. So
Yeah.
how do you explain this, Prabhuji?
Yeah, but generally, if you see the percentage of people who come to Krishna, which class of people they come from. Mostly it is that is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, Artho Artharthi Jignasu Gnani Cha Bharatarshava. Artho Artharthi, people who are in distress, people who are wanting of money, they will easily come to Krishna. It's not a disqualification. That's why I said it's not that everybody who has money, everybody who has education, everybody who has this one, it's not that they will not chant feelingly. But general idea that Prabhupada is giving is that, if people remain complacent, satisfied with material situation, so they don't feel the need to go to Krishna. I mean, I know in my own family, I observe this actually. We have, we have all economic strata in my mother's family side. There are some sisters of my mother who's so rich that don't even know how much money they have. Then there are others who are so poor, right? And then there are many who are in the middle. So we have really poor, middle class, and high class. In my own family, I have seen, right? And it is so easy to see that, people who, like you said, also there are people who are very poor who are not coming to Krishna. People who are too rich, they're also not coming to Krishna. right? At least in my own family, what I have seen. And it's the middle class family who don't have too much of anything or too less of everything. Yeah, or they've gone through serious troubles in life. They have come to Krishna, right? So it depends. I mean, it's not like a blanket statement, or it's not disqualifying anybody as such. But generally, more
But,
everything,
but
more people are rich, everything is going fine. Generally, people don't have the
you want
need
to
to
take
come.
out the
They don't feel the need to come to Krishna, to come to God. Just it's not like a absolute statement disqualifying everybody who's rich, right? But if somebody is, if generally the people who are rich, who are this one, they'll be self, like they have more confidence in themselves, their own ability. They think they have earned the money. So this false ego will just prevent them from coming feelingly, calling feelingly out to Krishna. Who will call feelingly? A child who is in distress will call out feelingly to his parents, right? But a child, in a house there might be two children. One is very self-sufficient, independent types. Whatever trouble it's going through, it's not going to call out for parents. It'll be, it's okay, I'll manage. But that helpless child, he'll call out, oh, mama, papa, please come help me. So it's like that. Important thing is not whether we are rich, we are poor. Important thing is that whether we are calling out to Krishna feelingly or not. Right? And generally, material intoxication will prevent us from calling out feelingly. That is the whole point here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Can I just interrupt, please?
yeah, yeah,
Prabhu,
please.
like I mean, like from my life, I feel like when you're in distress, we all go through it. We all
Mm.
go through the grind.
Yeah,
And like it was, when you are in distress, we usually turn to a demigod, and when it is
yeah,
fulfilled, you become solid. Your faith
yeah,
becomes solidified. And
yeah,
I have this feeling that it is only by the mercy of Krishna and Guru that somebody steps into your life where
mm,
you come to Krishna consciousness or come to Krishna, and
mm,
especially to ISKCON. I mean,
mm,
this is my deep. I could be wrong. I mean, but this
yeah,
is what I feel. My life has taught me. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
may be absolutely wrong. Like I feel usually when in deep trouble, like Hanumanji, Durgaji, you're doing parts, you're doing fasting, you're going through. It's all that. And
yeah,
it's only by Krishna's mercy that you get Krishna. You get a guru which
yeah.
brings you to Krishna.
Yeah, actually, what the Vedic way of life was, obviously, people first used to be, yeah, by when people were in distress, they were taught that there is some higher power, right, which is demigods, and people used to come to demigod worship. And actually, the idea of prolonged demigod worship is that the prolonged, but these demigods eventually, they also know that eventually all of them have to be brought to Vishnu or Krishna. So prolonged demigod worship will bring people to Krishna. That is the Vedic way of life, right? Which is, there's demigod worship in mode of ignorance, there's demigod worship in mode of passion, then there's demigod worship in mode of goodness. And that demigod worship in mode of goodness eventually brings the person to Vishnu or Krishna. Right? And now this is the natural process. What is the special process? Special process is mercy of devotees. Special process is mercy of devotees. Right? When devotees show mercy, either by giving a book or calling somebody to a satsang, giving somebody prasadam, etc., that natural cycle is broken, and a fast-paced program, they will get onto a fast-paced program of coming to Krishna. Otherwise, natural process might take years, because the natural process also requires that the mindset of the individual changes. Like you said, if somebody becomes, and Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, if somebody wants to develop faith in a demigod, I will give them the intelligence to become fixed. So it's true. It's difficult for people to actually come out of that, but it takes lifetimes. It takes lifetimes. When eventually, through some means, they will come to Vishnu. That is why in Bhagavatam also it is said, saying that all demigods are fine, but the ultimate benefit comes from Vishnu or Krishna. Yeah, so demigod worship is good. Slowly will bring people to Vishnu, but it might take many, many, many lifetimes. So that is why country like India, it makes it much easier for people, because actually people don't have so much differentiation between bhakti and demigod worship. Meaning, sometimes they confuse bhakti, Vishnu bhakti or Krishna bhakti also to be demigod worship, and they get the benefit. They just think about Vishnu worship or Krishna worship also as some form of demigod worship, and they'll get the benefit of that. But in non outside India, unfortunately for them, even demigod worship is rare, and then Vishnu Krishna is even rarer. But in a country like India, even this faith trust that there are some superior entities called demigods, and that faith will somebody will call, okay, come to our house, we have Krishna Janmashtami, we will go, and then we'll take honor prasadam. That's it. That's the beginning of our bhakti. So it's much easier in a country like India for those who have faith, basic faith in some superior power, and that they are sattvic. That is why Krishna says, Artho Arthati Jignasu Gnani Cha Bharatarshava, that Sukriti no Arjuna. Some Sukruti they have done. Otherwise, they'll not come to even demigod worship, right? So some Sukruti, it's much easier for them to come to Krishna or Vishnu in a country like India. Otherwise, like you said, it is just purely mercy. For people outside India, it's just mercy of Prabhupada that today they are coming to Vishnu or Krishna. In fact, even people going to Vishnu also were subsequent to Prabhupada taking Krishna to the West. Right? So for Westerners, it is just pure mercy, like you said. There's nothing else. But in India, no. In India, there are a lot more, more favorable situation, circumstances, and that can help bring people to Vishnu or Krishna much faster than normal. Okay. Anybody else has any other thoughts? Yeah, Chiranjeev, bro.
Prabhuji, I just posted my query.
Oh, you posted a
All
query. How much time should we spend in reading, Prabhuji? Say, reading, Prabhupada just said simply at least 1 hour. We should read at least 1 hour every day. If we develop a taste, then we'll read more. But at least 1 hour. Right? So at least then if somebody is not reading at all, start with 15 minutes, then slowly increase it to 30 minutes. Then it's not that it has to be done at one sitting. If somebody has the time to do it in one sitting, super. Right? And somebody can do for half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, or half an hour in the morning, maybe 15 minutes. Something, right? Just start. Eventually, idea is at least 1 hour will have a good impact on our conscience.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Pranam.
Yeah, and if we want to seriously change our life, 2 hours. 2 hours a day. Seriously change our life. If you read 2 hours, then that's it. Nothing can stop us.
Yes, understood. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay, we'll close. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo koti Vaishnava. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.